Hey guys, it's Megan. Welcome back to another video. We are doing something totally different today. It's an experiment where I'm going to try to read books that I would never normally read. And I'm only doing it because they're so popular and so hyped. So my plan is to read 4 books. Obviously this will be a quite long vlog because of that, because I want to give you updates as I go through each one, or at least maybe halfway through and then at the end, and see, are these books worth the hype, especially for someone that doesn't read these genres. So let's talk about the 4 books that I'm going to read. So most of these, actually pretty much all of them, they're all going to be either ebooks or audiobooks. I've got my little tablet thingy that I'm really enjoying using because I'm really into ebooks right now. So the first book I'm going to read is The Guest List by Lucy Foley, I believe is her name. Because I already have it. It's ready to go as an audiobook for me from my library. So I'm going, like my public library, not my school library. But all I know is that it's a thriller about like a wedding, that there's like wedding guests that come to this like island or something. And I guess there's a body. Somebody dies. I guess it's one of the guests. I don't know. Or maybe it's maybe it's the bride or groom. I'm not really sure. But they've got to figure out, who did it. And it's supposedly Agatha Christie-esque, which I like some Agatha Christie. I loved Murder on the Orient Express was probably one of my favorites. But yeah, so we'll see. I'm going to start this one today. I'm very scared because I'm not a huge thriller fan. Not because I'm scared, but I mean I'm scared that I'm not going to enjoy it. Honestly, I do think I might like this one better though than some of the other ones that I'm going to be reading. So another book I'm going to read is something that I would never ever pick up. I could see myself reading a thriller or a mystery or whatever, but I cannot see myself reading this book. I'm going to read Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm really scared because I know it's about I don't know, a surfing family or something from the 80s. I don't like historical fiction. I don't like surfing. I don't like contemporary. I don't like family drama. So I don't think I'm gonna like anything about this book. And I guess that's why it's gonna be fun, is just to see apparently she's such a good writer that it doesn't matter. I was gonna read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but that's a book that I think I could actually enjoy potentially. So I thought it might be more fun to read a book that I think I will not like just to see if it lives up to all the hype, because everyone and their brother likes this book, including people, I've got some booktubers who don't like this kind of book normally, who say that this book is amazing. So we're gonna give this author a try, and then I'll probably still read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo some other time. Oh, and I already have the ebook of this, so I'm ready to start it today also, because it's June 1st. Ready to go, ready to start a new book. Finished a book yesterday, so I will start this one. So I'll start both The Guest List and Malibu Rising today. Now, the other 2 books I'm going to read for this video are 2 that I don't know. Well, I'm definitely going to read the ebook and audiobook for these other ones too. I'm going to be reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I was gonna read Beach Read by Emily Henry, but I like books so much better. I don't know, should I change? Should I read Beach Read? I'm really conflicted if I should read Beach Read or Book Lovers for this vlog, both of which are incredibly popular and they're all everybody talks about. But I think I will like the Book Lovers one better, although I think the other one's about books too. So okay, we're gonna stick with it. We're gonna read Book Lovers by Emily Henry because everyone talks about this book. It is super hyped. It is super popular. It's a romance about maybe 2 rival bookshop owners, I think. So I think one's I could be making this up, but I believe one's a newer bookstore and one's an older, maybe used bookstore or something. I don't know, maybe I'm making that up, and one's a chain bookstore or whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna try this, and fingers crossed. I don't know, I hate romances, so I don't know if I'll enjoy this at all. And then the last book I'm going to read is the one that I think I am saving it for last. I don't know if I'm the most excited or the most nervous, but I've never read a book by Colleen Hoover, and I hear her talked about, of course, nonstop. I would never normally enjoy the types of books she writes. I don't like romance. I don't like sad books. That's the one thing I'm not gonna read a sad romance ever. I think that book, It Ends With Us, is a sad romance. I'm not reading that. However, I am going to read Verity by Colleen Hoover because I know it's also really, really popular, super hyped, crazy hyped, Book Talk, all that sort of stuff. But this book is a thriller also. It's a thriller romance, I think. So other than that, I have no idea what it's about, except I think the main character's name is Verity, and I think it's why it's called that. So these are the 4 books I'm going to read. Wish me luck is all I can say, because I don't think I'm gonna like any. Okay, let's go ahead and predict real quick. Let's predict which ones I will like the best. So I predict that I'm gonna say Book Lovers. I'm gonna say Book Lovers will be my favorite. I'm gonna say Verity will be my next favorite. number 2. I'm going to say The Guest List will be number 3, and I'm going to say Malibu Rising will definitely be number 4. So that's not the order I'm reading them in, but that's the order that I predict I will enjoy them in. So today I'm starting The Guest List and Malibu Rising, one audiobook, one ebook, and I will give you an update once I get a little ways in and see if it's possibly anything I could ever enjoy. Hey guys, so I'm at the library sitting in the parking lot. I had to return a book, The Ruin of Kings, not The Ruin of Kings, The Ruin of Kings sequel, which I just DNF'd, the name of all things, because it's not very good, let's be honest. Anyway, we're going book shopping today, so I thought I'd show you a little bit of that too, and do a taste test, because who doesn't love a good taste test? This is the AHA lime watermelon. I've never had a watermelon seltzer water before, so let's try it together. I've really been in the mood for watermelon lately, maybe because it's summer. I love seltzer waters. I always get the Kroger brand usually, but they didn't have it this time, or they didn't have the Walmart brand or whatever it was, so let's see. Ooh, tastes like gum. Tastes like some sort of watermelon gum. Yeah, it tastes like some sort of double bubble. Ooh. I even like the lime in there too, so it's not all watermelon. That's actually really good. If it had sugar in it, it'd be even better. Anyway, we're going book shopping. We're going to go to probably at least 3 different bookstores, so I'm super excited. You can come with me if you want and kind of see. We'll see if we can find any of the books that I'm reading for this vlog. Maybe I'll find them physically. That'd be kind of nice. So we're going to go to the Book Warehouse. We're going to go to Ollie's, which has bargain books, which I love Ollie's so much. And that's where I buy all of Ash's books because the baby books are so cheap there. And then we're going to go to a little bookstore downtown. I can't remember the name of it. It's something really weird. I'll show you when we get there, but I've been there once before. I even did a vlog there once because they had like a whole used bookstore thing upstairs and they had different flavored teas, and I don't know, it was really cool. It was really unique. So you can come with me and we'll see if we can find any good deals. Okay, we're here at Ollie's. They have a lot of books and lots of kids books that look like kind of a hot mess over there, but let's see. I mean, I just want to show you these deals. Look at this. This hardback is $4.99. I feel like I've even heard of this one. $4.99, people. This is crazy. Now, I know they're not going to have like the newest, like best books, but look at these prices. $4.99. Yeah. So let's go see if we can find anything that looks good. So I found a book, My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. This book is $4.99 for a hardback, brand new hardback. I don't even want to read this book, but everyone talks about it. So do I buy it? Okay, I found the teen section, which is not good because I thought I was done, and now I found more books. But look at this. This Bloodleaf, which I've heard of, is $1.99 for this brand new hardback. I have to buy it. Okay, so I looked on my Goodreads, and this actually is on my TBR. So I didn't not just buying it randomly, but a couple people I know have read it and both rated it 3 stars or 3.5 stars. So I don't have very high hopes, but it's $1.99. Let's be real. Okay, guys, we're at Ghirardelli. We're gonna try well, it doesn't even have the sign on it. Chocolate Lovers shake, which used to be my favorite shake ever until it kept giving me migraine. So here we go. It's like pure cocoa. It's like not even too sweet. Okay, and we'll go find a bookstore and I'll update you. We're at Book Warehouse. Let's go in. I'm seeing nothing exciting in the window except for, you can bundle and save apparently. Well, I wouldn't call it a warehouse, but let's go see. I've never heard of like any of these books on display, so I'm not liking our chances. I'm gonna go through and look at the fiction shelves, but nothing on display. Okay guys, I love BookTube and I watch so many BookTube videos, and I have never heard of almost any of these books. Like I've heard of Christine Feehan because one of my friends used to like her books in college. There's one by her. Seriously, what are these books? Let me just show you. This is the sci-fi section. Okay, I mean, I've heard of Pacific Rim, but I'm not gonna buy that. But look, have you ever heard of any of these? So this is why this place is an outlet store, because it's books that nobody wants. I don't think we're gonna find anything here. Well, so it begins. We're outside here. It's getting kind of dark, so it's not too hot. And fingers crossed that this goes well. Okay, let's just pause and talk about these books for just a second. Also, do you like my lighting? It's supposed to be Malibu Rising colored. I said to turn it teal or turquoise or whatever. So anyway, quick update. I am exactly a third of the way through the guest list and a third of the way through Malibu Rising. So let me tell you my thoughts. Let's talk about the guest list first. The guest list, I'm a third of the way through and I am liking it better than Malibu Rising. I'm actually enjoying both of them more than I thought I would. The only problem I have so far with the guest list is I'm a third of the way through and no one's been murdered yet. I thought that it was a murder mystery, but how can it be a murder mystery when the person hasn't been murdered? I'm not even sure who's going to be murdered because I didn't read the synopsis. I'm going to guess it's the husband or soon to be husband. I don't know if they're going to make it through the wedding before the guy dies. That's just who I'm guessing it is. There's somebody right now who kind of doesn't like this person and it's very clear they don't like them. And it's like, oh, sometimes he almost is like a different person and this thing takes over him and he gets really mean and different. And I'm like, okay, well, clearly it sounds like he would be the killer, but I don't think it could possibly be that easy or that would be ridiculous. But anyway, so I am intrigued to continue on with this one. Like I said, I'm kind of waiting on the actual murder part, but I like the characters and I love the audiobook narration because it goes back and forth between different audiobook narrators for the different characters. And I'm really enjoying that. So let's talk about Malibu Rising. I'm a third of the way through that as well. I just got to a third of the way. Oh, and by the way, this is all in one day. Like this is less than 24 hours that I started both. I started both these books last night and it's 3:15 the next day. So somehow in less than 24 hours, I've read a third of each of these books, which I'm just really excited about. But they're not very long, pretty easy to read. So Malibu Rising is better than I thought it was going to be because it's actually about 4 siblings. And I love books with siblings in them because each sibling like has different personality characteristics and it's always fun to watch them talk to each other together and see how they interact. And I think it has to do with the fact that I was an only child and I always used to pretend like I had siblings or something. And all of the games I would play, there would always be like multiple sibling characters and stuff. So, imaginary games, pretend games, stuff like that. So I think I'm just excited that there were siblings in this book. But what I didn't know is how much of this book is a flashback. Now, hopefully this will change, but as of right now, a third of the way in, so much of this book is a flashback to like the late 50s or early 60s with these 4 kids, the 4 main characters, like their parents. It's their parents' story because it turns out their dad was a rock star and his name was Mick Riva, which is, I guess, sort of even based on like Mick Jagger or something. And he's just terrible because he like marries this wife and marries this woman and they're going to have the best life ever and he's going to love her so much. Well, then of course he's like off with all these other women because he's a rock star. So that's like what he does. And then he finally comes back to her and she takes him back and then he just does it again. And I hate him. He's awful. He's the worst. I hate it for the kids. I feel really bad for the kids in this book. So it is making me feel something, which I suppose is good, but it's just annoying. But I also don't like the fact that it's focused on these other characters because I don't care about them. I wish this part was shorter and it just kind of glossed over it, but I'm worried now that how much of the book's going to be flashbacks. But the whole book is supposed to take place over just 24 hours. And I was really excited about that because each chapter was like 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. And then at 7 p.m. that night is supposed to be a big old party. And at this party is when Malibu, or the house catches on fire and then all of Malibu catches on fire and like burns down, which apparently happens every so often. I guess that's true. That's what it says as a note at the beginning of the book. So this is what happened one of those times at this party at this house. And that's what I thought everything was building up to. So I thought everything was going to take place over 24 hours, which I love, that kind of thing. And I thought it was going to be about siblings, which I love that. Instead, it's not 24 hours because it's literally like years and years of these people's like, past, and it's not about those 4 people, it's about the parents. So that's my only complaint. It is well written, and assuming that it gets more to present day and more about the 4 siblings, I'll enjoy it. We really need to be done with his backstory though, because I'm over it. I'm bored of that part. We need to move on. But anyway, it's better than I expected. It's definitely not about surfing because I was afraid it was about surfing because that's what people mentioned, but it's really not. It's more about rock and roll lifestyle right now, if anything. But all right, so I will update you again when I'm, I guess, about 2/3 of the way, and we'll see if I'm liking these any better. Can you tell me more? Can you tell me more? Can you read some of your book? Oh yeah? You want to read some more? Can you read it? I know that you didn't just spit those green beans out. And I know you're not going to spit them out again. Oh! Asher! Oh my gosh. You're awful. Ash, do you want to sing a song? You do? Do you want to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star?
Yes.
You do? Okay. Do you like it when I sing to you?
Yes.
You do? Okay. All right, we'll sing it. Quick update. I'm tired and I just have to tell you where I'm at in the books because I'm actually going to sleep like momentarily. I'm so sleepy. But it's the next day and I have read 70% of Malibu Rising and 80% of the other book. I've already forgotten the name of it. The guest list. There we go. Okay, so let's talk about Malibu Rising first. Why not? So I'm 70%. And at this point, I just want it to be over. I just want it to be over. The whole first like half was flashbacks. Couldn't believe it. And I was so ready for something to actually happen. And then now stuff is happening and I don't care because I keep mentioning other characters. We've built up these people for so long, this family. And we've learned, like I said, we've had all their backstories. We know everything about them, everything about their parents. And then now it's not even about them. I mean, it is about them, but then it keeps mentioning these other random people. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm done and I'm ready for it to be over. There's way too much family drama in this for me. I want it to be more about the party, and at least they're finally at the party now, thank goodness. But I don't want to read another 30% of this book. It's not bad. I don't hate it, but it's not a book I would ever, read. And I'm going to keep going, obviously, and finish it, and I'll update you again on that one. Then I'm still reading, of course, the guest list. I'm 80% through that one. There's still not been a murder. The murder has not happened yet. So I don't know that you could say it's a murder mystery. The only mystery part is that I guess you're the kind of the detective. It's not a detective story, that's for sure. Like, you are the detective trying to figure out who's going to commit the murder. And it's really interesting going into it not knowing who the victim is going to be. So I guess if I'd read the back of the book, I would know who the victim was going to be, but I did not. So it's kind of nice going into it knowing absolutely nothing about it, which is a really interesting way to go into a book. You know, not even reading the synopsis or anything, just knowing that, hey, it's a thriller or a mystery or whatever, and that's like it. That's all you know. But I think it's going to be the husband. I think it's going to be obviously one of the guests that commits the murder, but I really hope it's one of the guests that are like a point of view chapter character that we actually know. I think that'll be really fun if it's one of them, although wouldn't we know it's one of them? It wouldn't be a mystery because we'll see them do it from their point of view, which maybe that'll happen. But it's sort of a mystery right now about who is going to do it. I hope it's not just some other random character that we don't really know. It's like, you know what? It was this dude over there. Oh, the whole time he was there. Oh my gosh. And it's like, because I can see where they could do that based on like what happened in the husband's past, that he did something that people would possibly want revenge on him for, like a group of people maybe even. And so I'm like, it could be that it's one of them, like they're at the wedding and he doesn't know they're there and they're secretly there. I don't know. And maybe they're the killer, but I hope that that's not the case. And I hope it's somebody, I don't know, I hope it's something really shocking, like it's going to be the wife, you know, even though these other people, because there's a couple people that are really obvious suspects. It could just be one of them, but it's like, oh my gosh, I want it to be, like the wife or something. That would be really crazy. Maybe it will be her. Ooh, that's my new theory is that everyone else is suspicious, so therefore it'll be the wife. Okay, so we're going home tomorrow, back to where we're from originally, which is 2 hours away, and we're going to take the baby with us. So I'm going to read some in the car, and then probably the rest of my updates for this vlog will be from my parents' house, so or my husband's parents' house. But yeah, I'll update you then. And I also got my next 2 books I'm gonna read. I got Book Lovers as an audiobook, yes, because I thought it would be no. I got Book Lovers as the ebook, and then I got Verity by Colleen Hoover as the audiobook, because I thought listening to a thriller, you know, would be more interesting than just listening to a plain romance, although the other one is thriller and romance. So yeah, I'm going to listen to Verity and I'm going to read Book Lovers. So those will be the next 2 that I do. And I predict that I will like probably both of them better than the 2 books I'm reading now. So maybe I'm reading the 2 worst books now, and then those will be the 2 best books. But I think I'll like Book Lovers the best. Is that what I predicted before? But I think so. And then Verity will be probably second. Guest List will be third. And then Malibu Rising will be 4th, which I definitely think that's going to be the case, unless I just hate one of the other ones. But anyway, so I will finish these 2 books hopefully tomorrow, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, you ready? Let's do it again. There's Asher.
That's you, Ash.
That's
That's Asher.
You.
Let's do it again. Let's do it. You want to do it again? Let's do it one more time. There he is. There's Asher. Oh my.
That's
you,
funny,
Ash.
isn't it?
It's funny.
That's funny.
Well, everyone, I've done it. I've finished both books, so I thought I'll go ahead and give you an update on both of them before I start my next two books. And I'm prefacing this by I'm saying I'm very, very sleepy because the baby had his worst night since he was truly a little baby. Apparently, he's going through the 18-month sleep regression at almost 16 months old, which I guess is pretty common. Thank goodness for my husband who took over and did a lot of the night shift last night because it was rough. It was really, really rough. Ash woke up like every hour and a half. It was so bad. Anyway, I'm pretty sleepy. So let's talk about first The Guest List by Lucy Foley. So I think I predicted, I'll have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure I predicted that this would be my third favorite of the four, and so far I think that's still going to be the case because it was good. It was fine. I would give it 3 stars. Honestly, my favorite part about this book was the fact that you didn't know who the murder victim was going to be. In fact, the murder didn't happen until the very end. I mean, it was like the next to last chapter. So the fact that or maybe it was the third to last chapter, whatever. Anyway, the fact that you didn't know who was going to be murdered and who the murderer was going to be was pretty interesting. Although it was pretty obvious who was going to be murdered just because so many people had a reason to hate this person that you're like, well, obviously it's gonna be that person. So I kind of wished it had been somebody else because then that would have been a real twist to be like, whoa, it was actually this person that's murdered. You'd be like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. However, I will say I did not see the murderer coming. Well, I can't say too much because obviously it would spoil it, but I didn't really see it coming, and I was very happy with the way that it played out. I kind of liked that the people were all like famous people. I thought the characters were pretty good, but overall I gave this book 3 stars. I would honestly probably recommend this one to people because it was fun. It was enjoyable. It was fun. I say fun even though it was like, atmospheric and on like a creepy island in Ireland that was all like foggy and dark and had, legends on it from stuff in the past. Anyway, but I would recommend this book, and I actually enjoyed my time with it. I don't hate that I read this one, so I think I made a pretty good choice. Then I finished, just now, Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have to say, this will be my least favorite, I'm sure of it, unless I just hate one of the other 2 books, but I can't imagine I'll hate either one of them worse than this. But I just finished it, and I couldn't wait for it to be over. Oh my gosh, it dragged on. This book was way too long. So this book, I think it says it's like an 11-hour audiobook or something, which is actually pretty long for this kind of book. I feel like a contemporary, just, realistic fiction. So I think I went in, once I started the book, I had the wrong expectations, thinking it was going to all take place in 24 hours and thinking that it was going to be more about the siblings, but really it was more about the flashbacks and about the parents and the whole dynamic of the whole family. Honestly, I'd have been fine with more of the surfing stuff. The surfing stuff, that's the part I was scared about, that I was like, oh, I'm going to hate this. The surfing stuff would have been more interesting than what actually happened. But I wound up giving this book 3 stars because enjoyment-wise, I would have given it like a 2 or like 1.5. But I see the literary kind of merit in it. It definitely had a lot of themes. Like somebody could read this in a class and discuss it kind of thing. Like it's like good literature, Maybe it'll be a classic one day. I don't know. But you really could. You could discuss the themes in it and things. There would be a lot of stuff to discuss. So I could see, and the writing was really good. The writing quality was great. I would read again by this author, but I think, enjoyment like 1.5 or 2, but then literary quality like 3. So I wound up giving it a 3 because I felt bad. But I know I gave The Guest List a 3 also, but I like The Guest List better than this one. So I guess my star rating system needs to be improved because it's not very accurate. But I'm definitely going to read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo because I found out that Mick Riva, the main rock star dad in this book, turns out he's one of the husbands of Evelyn Hugo in her other book, like The 7 Husbands. I think he's like husband number 3 or something. I have a feeling it'll be more just like a short little cameo thing, not really a long, he's not going to be probably a main character, but that could be kind of cool. She wrote the other one first before she wrote this one. I guess this is probably one of her more recent ones. And apparently one of the characters in this book she's going to have another book about that character, and it's a very, very unlikable side character, so I can't imagine how she's going to write a book about her. So anyway, those are my thoughts on those books, and now I've just started Verity by Colleen Hoover. I'm like 2 chapters in, so I don't know how it could possibly be a romantic thriller, but those 2 things just don't seem to reconcile to me, but we're going to find out. So I did predict that I think that this one would be my second favorite. So I'm still going to stick with that prediction. I think it will be better than The Guest List. We'll see though. And then I predicted that Book Lovers would be my very, very favorite, and I'm going to start it right now. I've not started it yet, so I'm most excited to start that one. The baby's napping, I'm gonna go eat lunch, and I'm gonna start Book Lovers. Okay, this is Ash's first time in a pool. He loves water. It's a little chilly, but he's seeming to enjoy it. Ash, what do you think? What do you think, bud? What do you think? Oh, splash! Oh, he's splashing! Hi!
Hi.
Hi, buddy! Hey! Oh, he doesn't know what to think.
It is not.
He does not. In other news, I've started both my other books, so I'll update you on those when I get a third of the way through each one. Okay, so we're back home finally after being gone for like 4 days, and I didn't get to read a huge amount, but I have read approximately a third of each book of Verity and Book Lovers. So I thought we'd do an update. Yes, I'm driving. I just dropped the baby off at daycare. The toddler, I should say at this point, and I'm gonna go home and run, and I'm gonna listen to Verity while I'm running, so I didn't want to get too much farther because I'm already like 37% or something, so I'm already over a third, so I didn't want to get like super far because I'm hopefully gonna run a lot. And if I listen to like almost another hour of this book, I'll be really far into it, like 50%, and I didn't want to wait till that long to give you an update. So I'm updating you while I'm driving. So, okay, let's do Verity first, since I have read more of that one. I've read like 37%. So for Verity, it's actually better than I expected, and I like that it's short. It's actually really short. I'm listening to it on 1.5 times speed, and it's like not even 6 hours. Well, like I said, I'm about 37% of the way through, and I did not realize that this is what this book was about, which is good. I like going in totally blind, honestly. This has made it more interesting for all of these. I have to say that this is going to be my new thing, I guess, is to hear that a book is popular and then just to read it, because I like not knowing. But basically, it's Verity's not the main character. The main character is this girl who is a writer, and she is approached by this man who says he's the wife of Verity, who Verity is a very famous author, and she's writing a series that's gonna have like 7 books in it, and she only has written 4 of them, and she was in a terrible car accident, and she cannot finish the series because she's literally like almost comatose or something, and I guess no one really knows about it. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna let this other woman, the main character, write the other 3 novels and not put her name on it. She's gonna write them under Verity's name. So she agrees to do it because it's gonna be a lot of money, but she has to get inside Verity's head and, you know, be able to write like her, learn exactly what these books are about to be able to finish them and do justice to them because they are so popular. She doesn't want to ruin, you know, this great popular franchise. So she goes to basically live with these people. And the thing is, this family has had lots of tragedy. Like, they have had 2 children die. I mean, that's crazy, right? Like, what are the chances that you'd have 2 children die in terrible accidents? Like, one drowned, I think it was, and then the other one had an allergic reaction to something that they ate. So, and then Verity herself, of course, was in this like terrible car accident. So this is crazy how much tragedy that they have had in this family. So the main character even starts to think that maybe the husband is like involved in some way, shape, or form. But she can't seem to connect him to any of anything that has happened to this family. I'm wondering if it's not Verity herself, maybe. I don't know. She sounds a little iffy because the main character finds an autobiography that Verity was starting to write that even the husband doesn't know that she was writing. Well, I assume that he doesn't. He doesn't seem to right now. But anyway, she's reading that. So that's kind of the main plot so far, is that she's the main character is reading Verity's autobiography and learning more about how she met her husband and about their life together. So that's that book, and I'm actually really enjoying it. I did predict it would be my second favorite, and it might wind up being the favorite, possibly, because I'm actually liking it better than Book Lovers right now. So let's talk about Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I am not as far into this book. I don't know. I'm like 27-28%, something like that. I'm reading this one physically. It's also not what I expected. It's not it's not the plot that I told you. I told you what I thought the plot was at the beginning of this vlog. It's not that. It's not that at all. It's about a woman who is an agent. She's a literary agent, which has been, at the very beginning, was a little tough to keep track of because it was similar to Verity. Oh, sorry, my car is making noises at me. This book is actually about a literary agent who lives in New York, and she is a big time, like, cold-hearted, you know, businesswoman basically. And she's been dumped by 4 of her exes in the past for like more homey, you know, like hometown girls and they literally all quit their jobs and moved to like, you know, the middle of nowhere. So she thinks that she's kind of cursed because she says that she is like in a romance novel. She's the lady that, you know, is just a trope. Like she's a cliche. And she loves New York, loves her, you know, really set schedule and her lifestyle and exercising on her exercise bike. That's just what she does. So she's honestly not the most likable character, but it's about her and her rival who is an editor in the business. And clearly they're going to be the ones that have this romance together. But what I didn't know is that this book is also a lot about her and her sister. Right now, it's almost more about her relationship with her sister than it is a romance. And also, it's very little about books. Very little about books. I expected it to be a lot more about books. So I guess I'm sad because, you know, besides the fact that their jobs are related to books, it really, right now, they've not done anything with a book. Like at all. They've mentioned editing a manuscript or something, but anyway, I guess I thought it would be a lot more about books, but it's not. So it's a lot about her relationship with her sister. She's got a younger sister who's pregnant with her 3rd child and needs a vacation before she has this baby. And her sister's more like carefree, easygoing, can have a bunch of kids and not even like worry about it. And the main character, of course, does not have children and probably is not interested in having children. And so they go off on a vacation together away from New York City for one last hurrah, and they go to North Carolina for where the setting of this novel takes place. That is a really popular novel that is, you know, she's the main character is the agent for this author. And when she's there, she runs into, of course, the arch nemesis, the editor, and he, it turns out, is from that general area, and that's why he's there. And she's there for a vacation. So they run into each other, and right now they finally are starting to like talk, and they're playing pool together. And the one thing I do really like is their banter. Their banter back and forth is funny, and it's very well written. It's so realistic. So I really do like that. There's also a lot of really good metaphors and similes. I'll have to read you one of the similes in this book because they're very unique and very original. Sometimes they're kind of like out of the blue. You're just like, what? So far, not as good as I expected. Honestly, maybe might be my least favorites. Malibu Rising obviously got really long, so I'm not sure where it would rank really with all these, but I liked it. The more I think on Malibu Rising, the more I like it better than I thought I did. Anyway, I'm gonna go home and run, and I'm gonna listen to Verity, and we'll get hopefully another good chunk into that today. We're ready for our run. Got Ella here with me. We're gonna try to do 4 miles because I'm training for a 10K, so I've got probably, well, a while because I'm really slow. It's probably 48 minutes, honestly. Ella just peed on a sidewalk, so that's interesting. But yeah, about 48 minutes plus some time to walk afterwards. Let's go listen to Verity. It's over. I only did 3 miles, but it's because I did the hills this time. I'm training for this 10K, and there's a big hill in it, so I kind of have to do the hills. I got to 50% of the audiobook, and I only have like 2 hours and 40 minutes left, so I'll hopefully finish it by tomorrow. You know, nothing like taking your baby to daycare and then getting a seltzer water and having a nice bath. Yes, as I trip over. That is the plan. And listen to some audiobooks while I'm in there. All right, we're ready to start reading Book Lovers again. Yay, I can finally sit and read and chill for like as long as I want to, basically, because the baby's at daycare for another like 5 hours. But I want to show you this. Look at this wall we got done. We got these really awesome, I know the light's reflecting, I'm sorry, but yeah, we got these really awesome like nighttime pictures of each of the 4 parks, of course, at Disney World, and then me, Zach, and Ash right there at Epcot, his first ever trip. We went to Disney, and oh my gosh, he was not, you could look at his face, look at that. He wasn't too happy, but you know, we did what we could. That's probably the best picture we got. But anyway, yeah, oh, and there's baby Yoda. How cool is that though? I love it. I'm so glad we finally got this up. I said I wouldn't have any caffeine after 3 o'clock, and it's 2:59. So let's find our Rockstar energy drink real fast. Cause you know, tonight I've got to be able to stay up. I'm almost 50% done with Book Lovers. So I can't be sleepy at bedtime. Look where we're at. Kentucky Kingdom. We're about to get on this roller coaster, and I love it. It's called Lightning Run. It's so much fun. So we're just like waiting in line to get in. Yes, the baby's at daycare while we're here. This is such a beautiful park. I love it. And by the way, I've not read too much more, but I have to say I'm about to DNF Book Lovers. I probably won't because I'm reading it for this vlog. I said it would be my favorite. No, I'm like ready to DNF it. The main character is so unlikable. It's boring. I don't know. I'm actually pretty much enjoying Verity, but honestly, I think Malibu Rising is growing on me the more I think about it. And I actually really like Get the Guest List better than I thought. So it turns out I like the other two better, and now the two I thought I'd like better, I don't. Okay, update. I finished Verity. Let's talk about it first. I finished Verity by Colleen Hoover this morning, and I gave it 3 stars. It's really hard for me to rate this book because I enjoyed the middle part of it so much, but the ending was so contrived, stupid, like not really predictable, because I was surprised. I mean, I did suspect something. I still don't know what side I'm even supposed to be on at the end. So I did feel a lot of emotions as I read it though, so at least that's good. But it's the miscommunication trope. And if like, it leaves you ambiguous, let's say that. But if it is true miscommunication and that was what was going on here, then it was so stupid. It could have been solved with like one sentence. But I did not like the characters. The main character just had no personality. And even the main like love interest had no personality. So the two of them together, their romance was just kind of unbelievable. I just didn't get why he was attracted to her at all. But Verity, the main character's wife, that's like, you know, I think I've explained it before. She's a writer and she's in a coma, and the other girl has come to finish her, you know, her works. But the wife that was in the coma, that is now like bedridden and was in a car accident, she is definitely the most interesting character. I cannot tell you anything about the ending or it would spoil it, but I just don't know how I feel about it. That's why I gave it 3 stars, I guess. I think I liked the guest list better in some ways because I liked not knowing who the killer was going to be and who the victim was going to be. So I don't know. It's really hard for me to even say, but I think I like the guest list better. And then as far as Book Lovers by Emily Henry goes, I DNF'd it. I got to 57%, which I feel like is a really good go. You know, it's not like I just barely tried, but I got to 57% and realized it was so mediocre. The other books I was at least enjoying and wanting to know what was going to happen. I wasn't like forcing myself to push through, but the thought of having to pick this book up again and waste more time on it is like, ugh. I don't like the main character. I don't care about their romance. And that's the whole plot. It really is a lot about her relationship with her sister. It's not enough about books and being book lovers. That's what I thought it was going to be about. So I'm really going to try this young adult book called Last Chance Books, because I do feel like it might be the book that I actually want to read, about like 2 rival bookstore owners, and one's a big chain bookstore and one's like an old timey, you know, homey bookstore or something, and they're rivals that fall in love. That's what I want to read, I guess. So I'm going to try that book instead. I think it's called Last Chance Books, but I think it might be better than Book Lovers. Maybe I'll try an Emily Henry book again. It's clear that I'm not into romance, but I like romance when it's in like fantasy. So I don't know, maybe there's something to it. So let's kind of wrap up my final thoughts here. Let's go back to Malibu Rising again for just a minute. I know this contradicts everything I said in my previous clip, but this book I think is my favorite out of all of them. It is the best written. It had themes. It has stuck with me the longest. It's the only one that I wouldn't say is just forgettable like the rest of them. I'll probably never think about the rest of them ever again. It's the only one that really makes me want to read more by that author. I will definitely read more by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think she was a great author, and I want to read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo now. So you know what? I'm going to rank this at number 1. I know I said it would be number 4, but it was the best book. I mean, as far as quality of the book, now maybe not my enjoyment. It's hard to say because you can't really enjoy a book that maybe is this kind of sad. But I'd say overall, this one's definitely the best book. Number 2 I'm going to put is The Guest List, because I did enjoy it. It was a better mystery than I expected because, like I said, it's really like 2 mysteries because you don't even know who the victim's going to be. I didn't see the plot twist coming, did not see the killer coming, so that was good. And yeah, I just thoroughly enjoyed this one. I would recommend it, and I really liked the setting. It was very atmospheric. So number 3, I'm going to put Verity because I definitely still enjoyed it. You know, obviously I finished the book. I didn't DNF it. So it was fine. The ending was just ridiculous. Let's just say that. It was supposed to be plot twisty and everything, but it sounded like something I would have come up with like in middle school and thought it was a good idea. Like, oh wow, I could have this happen at the end. I just have to frame the whole story this certain way and to get to this ending. And it's like clear that the author was like so excited that this was going to be the ending that it was like, I don't know. I couldn't deal with it. So number 4, my least favorite, is obviously the one I I DNF'd, which is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Couldn't do it. Didn't care about the characters, didn't care about their romance. So therefore, why would I read it? Because that's really what it was about. And it wasn't about books, and it was more about her relationship with her sister, if anything. So didn't care. So to everyone's surprise, I ranked these exactly backwards. And I promise you I'm not doing this for just this video. I ranked these backwards from what I originally predicted. I predicted that my favorite would be Book Lovers, and it wound up being my least favorite. And in fact, I DNF'd it. It's not that I hated it. I could have finished it. I just didn't care. So therefore, I wasn't going to finish it. Why read a book that's just so mediocre that you just don't even care if you ever pick it back up again? I thought that number 2 would be Verity because it was a romantic thriller, and I thought that that would be more interesting than a straightforward mystery. But the ending was just so ridiculous that I would rank it probably number 3. Don't know if I'll ever read anything by Colleen Hoover ever again, honestly, but I know most of the rest of hers are romance anyway. Well, number 2 wound up being Guest List, which I predicted would be number 3, so I just kind of flip-flopped those around because it was actually very enjoyable. It was fun, and it was more kind of Agatha Christie-esque, which I guess I really enjoy. And the number 1 I picked I was Malibu Rising, which is like... that is mind-blowing because I said it would be the least good, but turns out because I'm a former English teacher, I enjoy good literature that's well written with themes in it, I guess. So anyway, this has been a very interesting experiment. I think I might do this again because I have a couple other books that I would probably normally never read that are hyped that I might try in various genres this time. Like I've got some that are a little bit different even than... yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll try it again, perhaps another time. But I've learned a lot about my reading taste. I've learned that I don't know them at all because the books I literally, this was backwards order from what I expected. So you can't always go by the plot summary. And I've learned that going into the plot summary totally blind is both good and bad because I went into it totally blind with Book Lovers and it wasn't what I wanted it to be. I went in totally blind with The Guest List and that made it even better. So I went in mostly blind with Malibu Rising as well and really enjoyed it. So, yeah, I guess I don't know what the lesson here is. It's just don't judge a book by its cover. I don't know. Don't read the plot summary, but maybe read it a little bit. Like just know just enough. I don't know. Maybe that's the lesson. But I'm going to keep going with this experiment. I think my lesson really is that I should read more contemporary literature because it's not bad. I should read more thrillers or mysteries because they're not bad. And I should listen to what BookTube is hyping up. If BookTube says that a book about a surfing family from the 80s is a good book, then I should not think that I'll hate it. And if everybody says it's really, really good, I should just read it and give it a try. So anyway, this has been a really fun experiment. I'll do this again in the future. And I love reading ebooks, it turns out. I've also discovered that too. So who would have thought? Anyway, I will talk to you guys again later. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you again soon. Bye.